Welcome to In Real Time, where we as Heights Church are inviting you in for real conversations about leading people, organizations, and change in the new normal. We're hoping that our real discussions about our church's journey will help you as you reimagine and rebuild yours. Welcome to In Real Time, and we are so glad to have you here for real conversations about leading people, organization, and change. Well, today we're going to be continuing part 3 of our conversation about longevity. Longevity in ministry or organizations and leadership, because I know that we're really at a time where a lot of people are asking, is it time for me to go? Well, we're asking a different question. Is it time for me to stay? Mm-hmm. Well, before we get into that conversation, I got 2 co-hosts with me, so I'm going to let them introduce themselves.
So I'm Jan Yarbrough, one of our associate pastors, serving mostly in the area of administration, but also with our restoration ministries.
Yes.
And I am Justin. I'm our life groups pastor and our young adults pastor.
Wonderful, wonderful. Now, both of you understand long-term leadership. You've been with our church, how many?
Years.
14 years from the beginning when we planted
2 weeks
the church.
after you, right.
Wow.
That's right, that's right. Yeah, and we were serving with each other 2 years prior to that at the previous church.
We've served together.
Which obviously we were at another church.
Yep.
And we sensed that it was time to move.
Yeah.
And we came here, and now this has been long term. That's good. And then Justin, you've been with us here now for
12 years on staff for 7.
Yeah. Excellent. So we've got long term
8 if you count my Justin the intern
as well. That's right. We count
Good
that.
days.
We count
then
that.
8.
Yeah, absolutely. 8 years. So, all right. So we're talking about longevity in a church or organization that really of any size. It doesn't matter the size. The issue is longevity. That's what we're really talking about. Now, we are assuming and presupposing that there are good reasons for people to leave. We know that that's true. Mm-hmm. Number one, God will tell us, hey, it's time to go. We experienced that.
Yeah.
We came here.
Right.
All right. It was new plant. We were supposed to do this. We know that for sure.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's another time when we come to realize this is not a good fit. It's never going to be a good fit.
Yeah.
I don't have to be mad about it. It's just time that I realized this doesn't work. I am a square trying to fit into a round peg. So that's not right, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So
we're going with
anyway,
it.
those are good reasons. But what if I stayed? Now, the 2 previous episodes, we talked about 2 questions that really are driving long-term health that we need to really make sure are true about us if longevity is going to happen.
Absolutely.
And that would be long-term health was spiritually and long-term health emotionally. So we've already talked about those. So if you missed those episodes, you can go back and listen to the 2 previous episodes. But there are benefits to longevity, and these often get missed, and I don't hear people talking about this, so we want to state them. They are somewhat obvious, some of them maybe not, but this is just a quick bullet list. We don't have to unpack any of these because we have done them in previous episodes, but if this is your first episode listening in, quick benefits to staying long-term.
Okay. We've got legacy.
Yep.
Long-term, deeper relationships.
Yep.
Deeper we go, the longer we will go.
You get time to build and develop better quality leaders. You get the time to pour into them.
Yes.
And you also get to hear and see redemption stories.
Oh, yeah.
Because redemption doesn't, the stories of transformation don't happen in a week. They take time.
That's right.
And when you're here a long time, you get to see the time. So that's cool. I love that.
Yeah,
Really
we get
good.
healthy working relationships.
Yes.
We know each other better. We work together better. Stronger culture in the organization. We are setting the pace and setting the tone. Used to that. We know what it is.
Yeah.
You get to build trust. I mean, because with time, you really get to learn your coworkers, the people you work with, and you build trust with them. You show yourself trustworthy and vice versa. And so trust grows. It's a beautiful piece.
Yeah.
And then your value should rise over time, meaning the value of the job, your capacity, all of those things should grow as you grow with whatever ministry or place that God has you in the midst of that.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, it's so true. Oftentimes we just want to have an instant reputation, and the truth is that's not how it works.
Right.
It takes time to earn a reputation. That doesn't come with title.
No.
That's something we earn over time.
well, and the last one is
Yeah.
yours. You always tout this one.
Yeah, the
You
dream
like to-
team.
Yeah.
Yeah, which you two are part of that. There are others, here that aren't, but you guys are. I won't say who they are.
The
but-
rest of them aren't the dream
No,
team.
I'm
We're
playing.
the dream team. Is that what you just
No,
said?
we have the dream team, and I
Cheryl-
mean
Cheryl
that
and I were once his
genuinely.
favorites, and now we're
Love,
his favorites. It's okay.
love this team, but you can't build a dream team in 2 weeks or even a year. It takes literally years to do it.
Yeah, no doubt.
And there's a lot of reasons for that, but longevity is what's going to allow that to happen.
Yes.
So these are benefits to staying. Now, I want to shift gears, and today we're going to be talking about really two things. There are myths about people who stay longer and have longevity in ministry. There are myths that people who look at them, see them from the outside looking in, and they say, that person's been there a long time, long-term leadership. They assume things are true about them or their organization. So we're going to unpack a couple of those. And then we're also going to end today by talking about must-haves when it comes to healthy longevity.
Yeah.
And these are things that we know are tried and true. We must have these for healthy longevity. So let's unpack a couple of the myths. We're going to say these and we're going to go, that is so ridiculous when you say it out loud. But I have thought most of these at one point in time and caught myself. That's not true, Craig.
do.
But I did. I leaned into it. I believed it. And it was not beneficial to me. So what do we got on the myth list?
So we have no problems to solve. Zero. Zip. None.
Yeah.
I can't even hear that with a straight face.
I know, I know.
It sounds so
I
ridiculous.
know. And I was stupid for
Man,
thinking it.
there.
it's so easy.
Yeah.
It's just paved with daisies and roses.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Rainbows and unicorns. It's
Right.
just super easy.
Exactly.
Please.
We think that. Finances are strong.
Oh, yeah.
They got so much finance
Oh,
that
man.
everything on their list is taken care of, all their wants,
Oh.
all
Yeah.
their needs, everything.
Budgets.
No campaigns.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
No, that's not how that works. Not at all.
Lean
not at
months
all.
are a real thing.
How about relationships are always so good.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
never frustrated with
Friction
each other.
never
No one gets upset with you about your decisions. You're
Yeah.
not misunderstood by anybody.
Right. That's not reality.
No, that's
We get
that's a false
misunderstood. Relationships are good only because you work to make sure they stay that way. Hey, that's how marriage
for it.
works, right?
Oh,
Right?
wow.
No, it's true.
So, of course,
You have to
any
work at
working relationship is going to be that way as well. That's good. That's good. All right. What are some other myths about people who stay longer that we look at and say, that must be true?
This is a tongue twister, but it's true. Everyone wants what you do. Everybody's on the same page. They know the why. They're ready to take the when. They know how. They're ready to go at your pace.
Yeah.
And they know who's going to manage it. Like they've got all the details figured
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
The who, what, when, why, and how. They're all on the same page with you.
That's right.
Which
That's
is
right.
absolutely ridiculous.
That's not true.
No.
It's just not going to be true.
But I have fallen for this one before. I'm going to just be honest. I've guilty that I've thought that was a real thing in somebody's life. Yeah, it's totally not.
Yeah.
Because if you go back through our other podcasts where we talk about this process of leading change, I would encourage you, if you're a listener, go back, check that out, because that one will talk about this specific issue.
Yeah.
And it's really phenomenal how we process that stuff.
Yeah. But longevity, you learn that you will be able to have those conversations and get people on
Absolutely.
In the right place so that you can decide which hill you're going to take, when, how, why, and who's going to manage it after it's taken. You will get to the place, but you have to have those right conversations. That takes some time to figure that piece out. Very, very important. Very important. So what was another couple of myths?
Continuous growth cycle. You're always growing.
Up and to the right, up and to the
Never
right. Always.
declining.
Always up and to the right.
Never declining.
Always up and to the right.
Always, always. Yeah, that is not reality. There's nothing on earth that grows continuously.
That's
No.
right.
It just doesn't work that way.
And there's always ebbs and flows depending on what season it is.
Yep. And churches are the exact same way. All organizations are the same way. Even the really big ones.
Yeah,
Yes.
It hasn't always been up and to the right.
Here's another one. Fresh vision comes easy. And I'll be honest, I'm guilty because there are those leaders like yourself who make it look easy.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
I mean, you make it look easy,
but it's not.
I know it's not.
By no
absolutely.
means it isn't, and it's hard work to get there. But you can get there, and longevity, you learn how to keep that fresh vision coming from God. But I will say it's easier to do the longer you're in one place, not switching to new places.
Right.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. And then the last one is your board, your staff, your key leaders in the church will never, ever disagree with you.
Wow.
Whoa, that must be true.
That's like
That's a total absolute myth. That's not true. The bottom line is you're leading people through every one of these. I think about my pastor, G.L. Johnson. I joined him. I was in my 30s. He was 74 at the time. He had been at his church for 46 years. Wow. I joined this man at an amazing time of his life where he was ready to really hand off wisdom and just teach and really pour into somebody who was hungry. And I used to just sit and ask him questions and talk. And he had been at that church for 46 years. It had been about 300 people when he first became pastor of it. It was over 6,000 people at the time that I had come on their staff. Wow. And he had led all those years, and he led through really difficult, trying times. And we talked about that and the ebbs and the flows and really devastating times when he wanted to quit. People were telling him, you should. Wow. And yet he continued to lead. And we talked about that. And in each of those scenarios, you found that he just led through it. And he just came with his character, his high quality character, loving people, loving God every single day. And he gave God a reason to give him more.
I love that.
Yeah.
Right? He just gave God a reason. I'm just going to be a good steward with what I have. Nothing easy about all this. And some of it was, but a lot of it wasn't. Yes. And I look at that and I go, that's longevity. That's the real story of longevity. So those are some myths, but now let's talk about must-haves for healthy longevity. And the first, I would just say, we've already spoken about in the first 2 episodes, so we're not going to unpack these, but it's a healthy you. It's a healthy you. We talked about spiritual health, emotional health. You need to be healthy so that you're, and I would just say it this way, when I'm emotionally healthy and spiritually healthy, I'm giving God a reason to give me more. That's how I would say it.
Yeah, it's a capacity thing too. Yeah.
It really is. It really is. I want to be a good steward with what I have, and being a good steward, which means for me spiritually healthy and emotionally healthy. So I need to do that work. So if that's work that we need to do, then let's do that. Let's just start there.
For it.
Start there.
It's worth it.
Number two, must-haves for healthy longevity. What do we got?
Jen.
Oh, okay. Conflict resolution versus remaining in conflict.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's great. This one you model well. I'm going to just say that out front.
I gotta say,
you guys are just full of
I
compliments.
actually think that she models it well.
I would agree.
Well, I learned from him. I remember.
Because she is like a Yoda when it comes to conflict resolution.
Yeah, no, it's true.
Well,
have you thought about this perspective, Justin? have you looked at it from this direction? So whenever I need to I need to reframe this, I go talk to Jen because she helps me recognize there's another solution to this issue.
Yeah.
Yeah, and instead of sticking in the conflict and just staying in it, because that's the other option, right? Is either resolve it or stay stuck.
Yeah.
Right.
And so.
Yeah. And it doesn't do any good to stay stuck or to leave it unresolved. That's going to just harm your organization and be a distraction that's not healthy and take way more time and attention than it should.
Yeah.
So jumping in with, let's resolve this. Let's put the time in up front. Let's stop this at this stage rather than 3 or 4 stages
Fences
down
or
the
whatever.
road.
Yeah. Agreed.
And address it with forgiveness and mercy.
There it is.
But I do mean that. I remember early on, a situation I found myself in that you coached me through. It was back when I was director of women's. And it was on a great team. And 2 of my team leaders leading this thing together,
Yeah.
and they're having conflict, and I'm just sitting across from them. Wow.
You're like, what's
We
happening?
got to step in and help resolve this.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it was good to just take the time to meet with them, not take sides, and help them find some common ground.
Yeah, yeah, and I think that really is a must have if you're going to be somewhere long term. We've used the quote. My wife gave me the quote years ago. There are no long term relationships without forgiveness, and it is so true. You must have the ability to work through conflict, and the reason is because if you don't, then you're not going to want to be there.
Yeah.
Because eventually all of the people that surround you, you're going to be in conflict with, and it's going to be unresolved.
Right.
And the true sense of health to me is not that a lack of conflict, because, I mean, we have disagreeing ideas. Doesn't
Right.
mean we're disagreeing
That's right.
or mad at each other.
It's just different.
But there are different ways of doing
Yes.
things, and we have to get to a resolve. Some of these are small, some of them are big. But we've got to be able to resolve that rather than just let the tension stand.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, for too many of us, we're just letting the tension stand, and it is uncomfortable. And we don't want to be around people when it's like that. I get it. I don't either. Nobody wants to be around that kind of an agitation. And so we need to resolve it. We need to get there. So we need to be able to be people who are looking to find resolve to these conflicts, and again, just don't let them stand. And I have done this in my life where I just let things stand. I didn't want to resolve it. I felt like, it just makes me uncomfortable. Well, I get it, but if you're going to be somewhere long term, then that means you're going to have to get good at just getting in there. And it is messy, but bring the right heart to the conversation, and you're going to get to a good place.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
It's reaching that understanding, if at all possible.
Yeah.
Show me where you're coming from. Help me understand what you meant by that.
Yeah.
I mean, all those conflict
Yeah.
resolution skills.
Yeah, keep your hands to yourself. Don't be doing that.
Yeah, don't do that.
There's definitely something to be said too about letting bitterness grow in your heart.
Yeah.
You're immediately going to start looking for an escape route if you allow that bitterness and that frustration of other people to invade your soul. And so it's definitely one of those things. You got to keep short accounts.
Yeah.
You've got to forgive. You've got to be merciful. You have to. And then it's also longevity. It allows you to learn personalities around you.
Yeah.
And so you go,
Yeah,
this is just kind of their wiring.
true.
And so you give grace
Very
based on
helpful.
people's
Very
wiring.
true.
Yeah.
And then in that you can go, hey, I need you to help me with this. And so we can bring each other the strengths out of each other in those spaces. And so that's one of the things about the forgiveness and mercy and the time together is if you don't have that, you don't necessarily learn those nuances of people.
Yeah. That's really good. I love that. That's true.
And it goes to number 3 is really solve problems. How do you solve the problems? How do we collaborate to solve problems?
Yeah.
I'm running into one right now with life groups, and I'm like, I got to figure out how to solve that. And now it's not the end of the world,
Right.
But it's a problem, and it's definitely a tension right now. So I need to figure out how to help them figure that out. So
Right. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, and I think that when we change our expectations to know that there are going to be problems, that's why leaders are needed.
Yes.
I mean, if there weren't problems, then we wouldn't need leaders, right? So
Right.
Yeah.
we're literally here to do that job, to solve problems. We're literally here to resolve conflict. Sometimes that means we're just going to offer forgiveness and mercy because that's just what's called for. You can't undo it. It's just done.
Yeah.
But I can offer forgiveness and mercy. I can model that. I can mean it. And let God truly do that work in me. Then when it comes to the solving of the problems piece, you just got to get in there and do it. And it's never going to be perfect. It's so rarely perfect, but that doesn't mean you can't solve it.
Yeah.
And so we need to do it. And very often, I know in the past, I have been weary, or I should say leery of solving a problem because I just, I go into it not knowing the answer. That's an uncomfortable place to be as a
Yeah.
leader,
Right.
especially if you're there long term and you're taking on something that's pretty big. It's uncomfortable to say, listen, I don't know exactly what the answer is here, but let's talk about it, because you feel like at that point, I don't know if I can restrain this. I don't know what's going to happen if that conversation comes up. But it is really critical that we would enter into those conversations, because here's what I know. If I know it's a problem, everybody else knows it's a problem. And if they don't know, they're about to. So isn't it the job of the leader to say, we have a problem?
Yeah, should be the job.
It should be. That's our job. It's okay. That's
Instead
a
of
good thing.
ignoring the elephant in the room.
Right.
Hey, look, there's the elephant. It's right here.
Right.
This is what it looks like, and how do we solve this? Well, and that honestly takes us to number 4 is it doesn't have to be my idea to solve it.
Yeah.
There could be someone smarter in the room than me.
Yeah.
I need to be humble enough to let that person bring forward their ideas and give permission for that kind of stuff. Like, I don't need to be the problem solver. I need to help address it and help us come find a solution. But I don't need to be the key idea. It doesn't have to be mine.
That's right.
And that, I guess, for me, that gives freedom to go, I don't know. Like, to say that as a leader, I don't know.
Yeah.
Anybody have any ideas? What else you got? Like, anybody else have any ideas here?
Right.
You know,
true.
that
It's
gives us
true.
freedom to ask that question.
Yeah.
And
You know, I think about churches too, where you've got a pastor and maybe like a board. It's often that churches are going to have a staff board-led combination of sorts. And as pastors, because we have the title, we can often think that we have to bring all the solutions to the room. But, you know, if I'm reading Scripture correctly, 1 Corinthians tells me that God brings gifts to the church
Yes.
to accomplish putting together an entire body, which will then accomplish all of the actual work that he wants that body to do. And so my role is not to bring all the answers, but it's to help bring all of the gifts together so that the answer can be understood and that we can
Great
move to that.
description. I love that.
And so I think that I get the insecurity because I have felt it. I have definitely felt insecurity in leadership, in a board meeting or a business meeting, or just in the hallway when somebody asks me a question. I don't tend to lean that direction now because I have come to understand that I don't need to be insecure about it anymore.
That's right.
But it is something I want to encourage healthy leaders in.
Yeah.
Because and I should say encourage leaders to get healthy in this. Because if insecurity is in your life and it's ingrained, you're going to start most conversations about problems defensive.
Yes.
And I am rarely ever going to find the right solution when I'm back on my heels. If I'm starting there, I'm already in a
that's
place
your
of
focus.
weakness.
Yeah.
You were talking earlier about your son and wrestling.
oh yeah,
You know, that is a weak point when you're on your heels.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
not a place of strength. You're not stable at your base.
Nope.
So it's important that we find ourselves confident and secure. And I can do that when I can ask you, what do you think the answer to this is? And truly listen. Truly listen in on
Yes.
that. Yeah,
Right.
that's really, really good. Okay, so I think this next one, let's do this next one, and then I think we're going to wrap this particular episode up. We'll just pick up this list next time. But this last one here, I think, is really important. A team you can count on to carry the vision. If you're talking about a long-term stay somewhere, you need a team you can count on to carry the vision. Now, I'm going to unpack this from a senior lead perspective, and I'll just say, when it comes to this, it's been very important to me over the years to curate, if you will, amazing, skilled leaders like yourselves who I know that I can trust to carry the vision forward, to see the vision with me, and to carry that forward. I know that I can trust you to handle it, to take authority over it, and to solve the problems, to direct it. Obviously, we are coordinating together on those things, but having a team around me to do it. Otherwise, great things can't be accomplished simply because I can't do that many things great anyway. And I sure can't do really more than one thing at one time.
Right.
A
it's
team
bandwidth
allows
issue.
me
Yes.
to truly just work on multiple fronts
Yeah.
at the exact same time. And so it just makes sense that we would have a strong team that helps carry the vision forward. for culture casting, for the hiring process. This is a part of that, which is why when we bring people on, the interviews are thorough, and we're asking the same questions over and over from different ways about culture. And is this what you like? Is this who you are? Is this how you're motivated? Because honestly, if you're not, then you're going to be very frustrated working here. And quite honestly, we're going to be frustrated you're working here. And that's not going to work. So let's take care of it now on the front end.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure. So it's a part of our hiring process, because we know I want to free people to accomplish great things. It's also about trust. It's about trust. I need to be able to trust people. That takes some time.
Yeah.
But it also means that I'm going to have to know some people.
Well,
so this is how teams are built. Not everything, but a lot of it is inherent in what we're talking about here.
And from the staff perspective, I mean, here's what we need from you. We need you to be the one to cast the vision, right? So we need you healthy as our senior lead to say, okay, hey, this is what I hear God saying. In fact, Cheryl would say something like this to us. Hey, look.
Our former executive pastor.
Yeah. So Pastor Cheryl would regularly say this to us. God put Craig in charge, and so we just need to trust that God's giving him the vision. And so we need to lean into the vision, whatever that is. And so our job is to follow. And so you can't just be a good leader if you're not a good follower.
Yeah.
That's the reality of this, is that not only do I need to follow Jesus well, I need to follow my senior pastor well. And if I'm not of support to you and I'm not leaning into you, what do I end up doing? Well, I end up being corrosive and undermining your vision and becoming more of a problem than a help. And so, from a staff member, we need you leaning into the vision. We need you hearing from God so that we can follow.
Yeah.
I mean, really, that's the bottom line for us. We need that from you. So
that trust definitely goes both ways.
It does. It absolutely does.
I know I have to earn that trust.
Oh, but you have it. At least with us, I know you have it.
Yeah.
So,
but it's something that it doesn't just come because of a title.
No.
It comes because of relationship. It comes because of time. It comes because we know one another.
Right.
And again, that's longevity. That's the benefit we have because we have worked together for so long.
Right.
So if I'm off, to circle back and go,
Craig
do you
needs a
still
God
want
day.
to make that decision?
Hey, are you okay? Do we need to talk? What do you need?
You had a little bit of an off day yesterday. Are you still you still want to do that? So that's that trust component. Yeah, and sometimes the answer is no, I don't. Thanks for saving me from that. So okay, these are really good. We've got more on this list of must-haves for healthy longevity, and this is just meant to help us think about what we need for long term so we can build it. Every one of these things has to be built.
Yes.
Yeah.
But the good thing is every one of these things can be built.
Yeah, it's possible.
Yeah. So I think our challenge today is really about the myths. Let's not hold on to those. Let's let them go. They're not true. Those people who are long-term healthy longevity roles, hey, you know what? They've done some things right. Yeah. And we want to look to that. We want to see them as a model and realize I can have that too. And I don't need to leave to go get it. I can actually build that here. And then these must-haves for longevity, let's lean into those as well. So if you feel yourself challenged in any of these, that would be my challenge, is to say, okay, God, how can we begin building these things with our teams?
Sure.
That's good.
Yeah, really good. Well, thanks for having a real conversation with me today about longevity.
Thanks for having us.
As we are leading people, organization, and change here in real time. If you like this episode, please hit the bell notification and the like and the subscribe. And we'd love to be able to let you get this as soon as it drops. We will see you next time in real time.